All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 16th, 2023. My morning SPY pivot, 444.66. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. US dollar index and crude oil still in daily uptrends. Natural gas is trying to stay above the midpoint of its last move up. IWM and SPY still in their 2-hour downtrends, currently challenging the daily minor support. Both are in the process of forming the right neckline of a head and shoulders pattern. Diamonds in a 2-hour downtrend from the triple top formed on the daily chart, currently moving back towards the uptrend line. FNGU and QQQ are in daily downtrends with lower lows and lower highs, currently challenging their major support on the daily chart. Now, when does the trend change? When major support is breached. FNGU is traded below the neckline of the current head and shoulders pattern. Gold and silver are in daily downtrends. Good morning, Mai. All right, so let's minimize that. Let's go look at the market. All right, so here's the SPY on a daily chart. You can see here is our 2-hour downtrend moving back. I have a target of 440.75. Now today we have FOMC minutes coming out at 2 o'clock. We'll see if we're going to get there. I think we just kind of meander over to the right in probably staying underneath this trend line until 2 o'clock, and then we'll see if they want to jack it up to the trend line or take us down to 440. We'll see what happens. SPY pivot, again, 444.66 above it, I'm a bull. So there we are with the SPY in a bearish engulfing on the daily chart. If we zoom in here, here is the bearish engulfing from the bull move that we had to challenge this uptrend, this downtrend line right there in this channel. And you can see we got the bearish engulfing. So what we're looking for today is the follow through. Yesterday we were looking for the follow through for the bullish move. Today we're looking for the bearish follow through move to the downside. Now let's take a look at T2122. We have passed through the sell zone, now in the oversold zone. Now we could stay out here, for probably 2 or 3 days, even a week in the oversold zone and just hang out there. So we'll see what happens, what they want to do. But thing to note is that we are in the oversold zone. T2123 on the 15-minute chart, red trend indicator, money is coming out of the market right here. This is money coming out. You get T2123 and it's red, money's coming out. On the 3-bar chart, we have formed a rounded top up here. We've gone from green to red. Where will it find support? Hopefully it'll find support right about here or sooner. We'll see what happens. But we do have, like I said, an FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. today. So expect things to get a little volatile at 2 p.m. and probably right into the close. Now let's head back. Let's take a look at our IWM. Oh, let me just share this with you. Okay, so here's the left shoulder right here. Our left neckline starts here, right at 437.01. And you can see here's the head. And we're in the process of coming down to form the right side of the neckline. Right over here. All right, so we are on minor support. Minor support are these two humps right here. See this on the daily chart? What we like to see is price bounce off of the minor support and head back towards the highs and challenge the highs, if not make new highs. So here we are bouncing. Hopefully we're going to get a bounce. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see. Currently we're in the 2-hour downtrend. Until that 2-hour downtrend is broken, we're still moving down. right there. So we're not gonna get bullish yet, but we'll see what they want to do with it today. I wouldn't be surprised if they spike it in one direction or the other going into the later part of the week. So let's take a look at IWM. IWM. This would be the left shoulder right here. Here would be the head. And you can see price is challenging the minor support right here. That would be these two humps right there. That's the minor support on the daily chart. Here is our uptrend line. So we are not only on minor support, but we are also at the uptrend line. We'll see how they deal with that today. This is the 2-hour downtrend. It's not a daily downtrend because they haven't put a daily pivot in yet. Just a grind back towards the minor support so far on the IWM. Now let's take a look at the QQQ. QQQ has a double top up here and a 2-hour downtrend back towards. It's passing through the minor support. It's now in the midst of challenging the major support. You can see these tails that stick down here, these two valleys right there. That's the major support. You can see price kind of bounced off of the major support area. Now notice the on the QQQ, it wasn't quite as severe as the SPY. Notice the candle did not do a bearish engulfing just like it did on the SPY. If we look at the SPY, we have a bearish engulfing candle where the bears wiped out everything that the bulls did in the last 2 days. So there we are. So take a look at QQQ. And you can see here is our 2-hour downtrend. This is actually a daily downtrend because we already made a lower high on the daily chart and we've made a lower low. So QQQ in a daily downtrend, not just a 2-hour, but a daily downtrend. And we'll see if they can break this trend line sometime this week or maybe next week. We'll see what happens. But you can see they've gone through the minor support and they're challenging the major support area right through here. There's QQQ. Here's our trend line. A move back to the trend. We'll see what happens. We're going to play it as long as the trend continues to grind down. Continue to short it until it finds its bottom. All right, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM if I didn't do that already. Yep, we already did IWM. So now let's take a look at diamonds. All right, so here we are with the diamonds. Here's the last move up. We wanted to remain in the upper third. The diamonds have broken through the upper third and now on their way to challenge the midpoint and the uptrend line. Diamonds currently in a 2-hour pullback. Not a flashy 2-hour pullback, but just kind of a bull flag meander over to the right pullback in the diamonds. Now we'd like to see them find support. Minor support is these two humps that stick up right here. I'd like to see them find support at minor support somewhere at this midpoint, maybe at this trend line. Maybe they have to come all the way down to the tops of these humps to find support in the diamonds. Diamonds still bullish. SPY has broken its bullishness. It has broken the trend line there. And there may be a larger trend line out there. We will find that later. We'll go back and review that. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU has the head and shoulders pattern. Here is the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder breaking down through the neckline and finding support, challenging the major support area down here. This is the major support at 165.50. And we have an uptrend line right here. We'll see if they're going to find, if the bulls are going to step up here at the trend line or at the major support area. So here is the uptrend that was broken, and now we're in the midst of a daily downtrend. It's a daily downtrend because we have a lower high on the daily chart and a lower low. Daily downtrend in the FNGU. So I pull back the trend right now. We'll see if they're going to find some support anytime soon and challenging the major support areas. That's these two valleys right through here. So that's FNGU. Now let's go take a look at semiconductors. All right, so semiconductors, not a bad day yesterday compared to the rest of the market. Here is the bullish move that happened the day before, and then if you notice, the bears couldn't do the bearish engulfing. They got it down, and they couldn't even get it down to the midpoint on the SMH. So SMH finding support right here at the major support area right here. See these two valleys? SMH finding support at the major support area. Here we have a double top. We'll see what they want to do with this double top. Now we're still in an uptrend on the bigger time frame. As you can see, this one starts back in October. And the uptrend line here is not broken yet. Although this one is. So they are in an uptrend channel, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it waffle back and forth between these two channel lines in a bull flag fashion to see what it wants to do while it chews time off the clock, waiting for the bulls to step up and maybe economic data to come through or economic situations to improve. But SMH here in a 2-hour pullback back to the major support area right here at 145. Notice the midpoint's not too much further south, about 140.02. It's possible for them to, with the FOMC minutes today, probably meander back down here and spike the major support down to the midpoint. We'll see what happens, but they are back in this uptrend channel and they've fallen out of this one. So we'll push that up just a little bit more. Right there. So there's SMH, 2-hour downtrend at the current time. XLF put in a horrible day yesterday. Rolling over, we've got a daily downtrend with a lower high and a lower low. A rip down to the 30% area on the XLF of its last move up. So here's the move up from the bottom to the top, and you can see XLF just banging down here. Now here's the minor support. That's these two humps right here. It's the minor support. So you can see price is headed back towards the minor support area of 33.96, maybe 33.90 area. So there's the financials. Now we need the XLF, the SMH, and the transports to all be bullish for us to have a bullish market. We can have two of the three, but we need at least two. Right now, we do not have any of them. So here's the XLF at this time. And you can see we got a daily downtrend. Price is underneath the trend indicator, and we're pulling back to the trend line. So we'll see how they deal with this trend line today and throughout the rest of the week. If they actually have to come down and touch the minor support area before finding the gas pedal to turn things around and put it back in the forward direction. So let's take a look at IYT. IYT does a bearish engulfing, falling out of the upper third. I like to believe that when a stock moves and it stays in the upper third, it remains bullish. Coming back to the midpoint, as long as it stays over the midpoint, I'm still bullish. but not as bullish as I am if it remains in the upper third. So XIYT, the transports, showing some weakness here with a 2-hour downtrend right through here. Where they find support, probably looks like they're coming down to the midpoint. We'll see what happens. We'll see if there's any rubber band effect to stay inside the upper third this week. That'll be important to watch that. But again, another one of our major components, transports, financials, and semiconductors, still in a 2-hour downtrend or a daily downtrend. So there's the IYT. Now let's go take a look at gold. See, here's gold, daily downtrend, not looking good on the precious metal there. Silver's kind of sitting on support here, and silver's in a daily downtrend as well. A little bit of a wedge pattern happening here. You can see we've got a lower high. See if they're going to produce a lower low, or if the bulls are going to step up here and ping this back to the downtrend line on the upside there. So we'll see what happens. Usually price kind of whips back and forth and consolidates until it finally figures out which direction it wants to go. Usually one of these trend lines wins out the future price action. So there is silvers. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, here's crude oil. Crude oil looking good. Nice chart on crude oil. Does need to cool off. Cooling off right now to 72.62. Not bad. I'm still bullish on this. You can see we're still way up in quadrant 3, and it could come all the way down to the bottom of this candle here and still be bullish in my eyes, because that would be the upper thirds. That's 70, we'll call it 70.75 or 70.80 area. So there's crude oil. So as crude oil pulls back, maybe some of these good ones like Phillips 66, Chevron, ExxonMobil, look for a little pullback to trend in those. Could provide some opportunity for the future as crude oil settles down here. Now let's go look at nat gas. Now nat gas trying to make its way back to the trend line here, challenging the trend line. Looks like that's today's candle, is it? No, that's yesterday's candle. Coming back to the midpoint on nat gas. Now we want this to stay up over the midpoint. If the bears start closing candles below the midpoint, I'm going to have to give them the credit, and I'm going to have to assign the ball to the bears. If they start closing candles below the midpoint. Right now, I'm still bullish. We're above the midpoint. We're above the trend line. But if we start to break through here and start closing candles below the midpoint, I'm going to have to exit my position in nat gas. But right now, I'm still bullish as long as we stay above the midpoint. Here was the minor support. You notice they failed the minor support. They have breached it. And now they're starting to work their way down to the major support. Major support would be these two valleys right here. This one, first valley, second valley. All right, so they're working their way down towards the major support and the midpoint, as you can see early here in the morning. All right, so I'm going to turn the recorder off, and now I'm going to take questions. I will see all you YouTubers tomorrow at 8 o'clock.